What's up and what's going on, everybody? Welcome in and welcome to the Blerd Brain podcast, where Melanin meets the multiverse, where blackness meets the beyond. I'm your host, Moses, your friendly neighborhood blerd, comic book overthinker, your Wolverine stan, and tattooed lover of all things black. If you're into graphic novels or comic books for the layman, video games, tech, cartoons, sci-fi, movie reviews, if you're dating a blerd, or if you want to date a blerd and you want to get a better understanding of them, or you just enjoy seeing the world through a black nerd lens, you're in the right place. So we're going to kick things off with the answer to a question, and that question being, what exactly is a blerd? And to start, to just be completely honest, I'm going to steal a line that somebody gave me real quick. So I can't even take credit, but it was perfect. I didn't change a piece of it because it was perfect. And it's this: blerd shit is nerd shit, but black. I mean, that was perfect, right? That's perfect. It's concise. It's direct while still eloquent. It rhymes. I mean, and it's got a little bit of cursing in it. So it's the perfect blend, but it's deeper than that. It's its own culture. It's a community. So a few checkoffs to find out if you are in fact in the right place. And I'm only going to do 5. It's an exhaustive list, but I'm only going to do 5. If you've ever been in an argument, and this is real life here. If you've ever been in an argument about X-Men power levels, and it lasted longer than 5 minutes, you probably in the right place. I'm going to ruffle some feathers on this one. If the direction that Star Wars has gone in the last decade has pissed you off, but you still watch anyway, welcome. If you thought the movie Hancock was underrated, so underrated, and could have gone in so many other directions, this is your place. If you ever found yourself imagining fight scenarios from characters from different universes, whether that's like Darth Vader versus Superman versus Green Lantern versus Wolverine versus Pitt versus the Max, etc., you in the right place. And if you know, I'm gonna say that again, if you know, underline know, that Blade was what saved Marvel well before the Avengers movies, welcome. You're home. To be honest to that question, I don't know where the shift came. Maybe it was like the late 90s or so. But to me, the blerd movement was when all that stuff that you would see kids getting beat up in the movies for, that became what was now cool. And people started to emulate it. And let's just be real. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Black folks move culture, and black folks make everything cool. So to the kids that got beat up for loving Star Wars in middle school, or for being on a first name basis with their science teacher, or, well, you guys might need therapy, but that's another segment. I don't think we're going to cover that on this one. Or you got laughed at for dressing up like Jar Jar Binks and you were a whole teenager for Halloween. I see you, and you're welcome. So since this is the inaugural episode, I like that word, so I'm gonna say it again. Since it's the inaugural, this is the inaugural episode, I'm gonna delve into my blerd origin story. So I'm a dad, I'm a poet, I'm a published author, I'm a songwriter, I'm a graphic designer, I'm an actor, blah, 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 blah. But my origin story as it pertains to this blerd shit is what this is. I remember the first comic books, there were 3. The first comic books I ever owned, 3 of them. And I believe I still have all 3 of them, I think. It was a Transformers comic book. I remembered, and this was like probably 1985 or 86, but I remember it. There's a Transformers comic book. Optimus Prime was on the cover. The Dinobots were in the background. The sky was orange, and they were running through a forest. I don't know anything more than that. And if I go look through my collection, I'm sure I got it. I got a couple of carts or a couple of crates of it. The second was a Silverhawks comic book. I can't tell you what the cover looks like because that cover didn't last long. I didn't know how to take care of books back then. And then the third one was a Fright Night comic. I don't know what that thing was about. I don't even remember opening it. I just remember seeing the cover. It was like a werewolf busting out of the cover, and I wanted to trace it. I knew when I got home I was going to trace it. So, like I said, it was the early 80s. I was a little kid in College Park, Georgia, and I was with my mom at a Circle K gas station that used to be, it was off Roosevelt Highway, and I don't remember what the cross street was, but my mom got them for me. I wasn't hooked at that point. They were just something to do, and I'm surprised that I was able to keep up with them, but that was my first memory of comic books. Now, fast forward to living in Illinois, still young, probably about 8. My neighbor, shout out to Alan Cochin, he pulls this white cardboard box from, it was either under his bed or from the closet, and there's these little like plastic wrap magazines, because that's what they were to me, was magazines. These plastic wrap magazines, and I'm like, who wraps magazines? That's kind of weird. And he slides it out and hands it to me, and I look at this just shiny or whatever. The cover's all shiny. The corners are all perfectly, perfectly kept. And he gave it to me. He let me keep it. And I remember it because I still have it. It was an X-Men classic number 57. And that's what started my love for the X-Men. And X-Men comics led me to my love for the character Wolverine. And my first Wolverine was Wolverine issue 55. And I think on the cover, I remember Gambit was on it. I think Sunfire was on it. Obviously Wolverine was on it. Jubilee was on it. And I don't remember the bad guy or woman in it. It wasn't like Silver Fox or Lady Deathstrike. It was some woman with a metal mask and blonde hair. I don't remember who she was. She wasn't like a bigger name like the other ones I mentioned. But I remember it. And yeah, we will do multiple separate episodes on Wolverine as well as multiple separate episodes on X-Men, but that was the beginning. I'd say outside of comics, I always loved things like little tech gadgets. I got that from my dad, and sci-fi movies, video games. I grew up in a generation where, of course, we had video games, but we were outside for most of the day. Video games was for when we came in, but I was a Sega Genesis kid for sure. I even had the Sega Channel. Y'all don't know nothing about that. But I was Mortal Kombat. I knew the code as soon as it came out. I was NBA Jam. I knew the codes to get the big heads. They already had big heads, but you can make them bigger to put different. You can put the gorilla in there. A whole bunch of codes like that. I had Altered Beast was my first game. Rise from your grave. I don't care if you're laughing at me. I don't give a damn. Yeah, and that was just obviously Sonic. So that was my thing. Now I'm almost 44, and the older I get, the more entrenched I get into this blurred life. And it's not just things around me. It's not just my own things. It's me seeing how accepted it is now. If you're here, you get it. So the question would come up as to why a podcast? Well, shit, I'm glad you asked. We don't have enough podcasts as there is, right? It's sarcasm. So the Blerd Brain podcast is about providing another space for blurredness, blurredom, blurdyism, however you want to say it, to flourish in all its glory. My hope is that it becomes a community within a community, within the community, like a microcosm of the Blerd community. But at its least, at its base, at its foundation, and even if that's where it stays, it's a place for me to talk nerd shit, to whoever will listen, even if it's just me and my mama. And I probably won't tell my mom about it right away because I'm cursing in this thing. So I just got to give her a little bit of time. So, there will be guests. There will be discussions on comic books, new and old. My reviews of movies, also new and old. Debates that nobody asked for. Memory lane segments where I talk about Blerd life before it had a label. Blerd love, like how to love a blerd. I mean, although we so damn cool, it should be obvious. But honestly, the direction, like anything else, will evolve with time. So you never know exactly what the next topic will be. It'll be whatever I say it'll be. So since this is the first of hopefully many episodes, I'm going to start light and give some more insight into my blerdom by listing my top 3 Blerd fandoms. And I'll explain the why as well. So my first, obviously, if anybody that knows me even a little bit knows that my biggest Blerd fandom, my biggest Blerd fandom is Wolverine. And it's because, is he the strongest character? Absolutely not. He's a pretty low rated from a power standpoint character. But I'm a fan and I'll just say 3 reasons. It's more, but 3 reasons. He, in my opinion, was the first real anti-hero. Like, not a bad guy, but not that sterling example of a good guy either. Like, while you have Captain America and Superman types that believe in justice, even for criminals or even for people who have done wrong, the tie him up and wait for the police type. Wolverine and the Punisher types are a lot more by any means necessary, right? And I definitely connect with that. The next is that he's a little dude. He's 5'2". He's got no ranged power, meaning he can't shoot beams at people. He can't fly. He can't run super fast. He can't do any of that. But he's still one of the most feared characters in all of comic books. Not just as a mutant and not just in Marvel, but he's one of the most well-respected and feared characters in all comic books. And lastly, I think a lot of folks connect with that badass loner character, but Wolverine, at least for me, has some of the most depth and layers of just about any character, at least in Marvel anyway. That was all number 1. Number 2 is The Matrix, my second fandom, second biggest fandom in blerdom, is The Matrix. And I only mean part 1, because what the hell were they thinking after part 1? Reloaded was pretty just okay. Revolutions was bad, and I think they meant Resurrections to be garbage on purpose. But the combination of tech, prophetic metaphor, illusion, and the most dynamic fight scenes up to that point was a smorgasbord. Let me let that melt in for a second. Let that marinate for you. A smorgasbord of blerdness for me. And with the fighting, the fact that they actually train the actors themselves in martial arts for a few months to do a lot of the fight scenes themselves, that kind of took it to a whole nother level. Obviously they had, stand-ins and stuntmen, but the fact that you could see in these super eloquent and elegant fight scenes, you could actually see that's actually Lawrence Fishburne. That's actually Keanu Reeves doing that. I thought it was dope. And lastly, fantasy, and I know that's a really open topic, that's really general, but specifically, I'm going to use Children of Blood and Bone. Listen, if it's not a comic book, it's a good chance I won't read it. I've never been a big fan of, let me go sit down and just read a book, when there's most likely a perfectly good movie to accompany it. But a very dear friend of mine put me on to Children of Blood and Bone. And I had heard about it, obviously. It's super acclaimed, heavily acclaimed, critically acclaimed book. But, I thought it would be another book that I was going to read a couple of chapters of and get bored because I'm not seeing anything and just sit down and forget about it. Listen, in less than 2 weeks, I'd read all 3 books in the series, and it's pretty amazing for me. And the only reason it took almost 2 weeks is because the third book, when I started reading them, the third book hadn't come out yet. So I had to wait until that next week. So I'm literally the day of, like I scheduled on my calendar in my phone when I was supposed to be there at Books A Million to pick up the new book because I knew it was going to sell out, and it did, but I got the last one. Or so they said. They probably had a whole box of them in the back. But I loved it for a lot of the same reasons I loved the Black Panther movies. The Afrofuturism, the mixture of powers, superpowers, and magic, and the drama of politics and classism, and it was just all kind of just mixed in, and it was all black, right? I mean, there was, you know what? I'm not even going to ruin it if folks didn't read it. It was just very black, and I loved it. And then when I heard they were making a movie, and then I heard who the cast was going to be, and that was a moment because when I heard who the cast was going to be, a lot of the people that they, casted are the exact same people I had in mind when I was reading the book. Crazy. But yeah, that was an amazing series. If you have not read it, read it immediately. Get your kids to read it. I don't know I can't remember when the movie comes out. I think it's 2027, maybe 2028, but it's at least coming out. So, that is my blerdom, or rather my fandom in blerdom. Just three of them. But, yeah. So again, I'm going to try to get these out as often as I can. But, if you've listened this far, I hope you enjoy what's to come. There will be, as I mentioned, interviews, reviews of, comic books, comic book discussion. We'll talk about space. We'll even talk about Star Wars. And I'll be honest, I'm not a big Star Wars person. So I'm going to be on the Star Wars journey as we talk about this, right? So, I know some of y'all aren't either. And you've been lying to your friends. You've been shaking your head like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, you talking about Rogue One? Rogue One and the acolyte is the. Yeah, I know what. No, you don't. You have no idea what they're talking about. But we're gonna learn together. Okay, I'm gonna hold your hand, and we're gonna walk through this Star Wars thing together. But it's gonna be a lot of different things that we delve into on this show, and I hope you come on back. So that's it for episode 1, I guess, of the Blerd Brain podcast. If you enjoyed it, I don't even know where I'm going to put this right now. So if it's something that you can subscribe to, then subscribe to it. If it's on something that you can follow it. If it's something that you can share it, right? Tell somebody about it. As I mentioned, up next, we'll have something great. I haven't planned it out yet, but you'll know soon. So until next time, stay blerdy, stay curious, stay black. All right now.